Now, for some reason, I can't find, this is where, so if we want to make the clock face, the next step is going to be to do a sketch on here. And we're going to go and get, I'm going to do this quickly, a center diameter circle. We want to make sure that it is locked on the origin, and we're going to make that 300 millimeters, which is about the largest the clock face can be. Then we're going to go finish sketch, and we're going to go back into home mode, and now we're going to extrude it up 3 millimeters. Now here it didn't click, I have to click on the inside here as well. And over here in the operation, it went to cut. So I'm going to go new component. So ideally, you're going to have 3 components here: the mechanism, the hangers, and with a little bit of luck, the clock face. So I'm just going to rename that clock face. Now, if you don't have, because it's sometimes you forget to turn things into components and they end up being bodies, don't stress about it. Your model will work just fine. I'm just trying to teach you best practice by doing the components, okay? So I've now got my clock face here. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna turn on that component because I wanna work on my clock face. I'm gonna do a new sketch on here. And I think all I'm gonna do is, all I really want is I want to be able to know when I export this to Adobe Illustrator where to put my numbers. So I just need to put something where all the numbers are gonna go, okay? So what I need though is I need to be able, so what I'm gonna do is get a center diameter circle, and I'm just gonna hover over my center line here, and I'm just gonna put a 5 millimeter circle there, okay? Now, it's blue. Can anyone tell me how I can make it black? Anyone have any ideas? Why is it blue?
It's not
Constrained. So we got to tell Fusion where it is. So I'm going to add a dimension, probably if I tell it how far away this is from the center line, it'll turn black. It didn't. Okay, so this is a good example. If you can't constrain stuff, I don't want you spending hours and hours worrying about that for now. Okay, it's your project will still work. Again, it's kind of like the components. It's best practice to try and constrain everything, but it's not worth you spending an hour trying to figure out how to do it at this stage. Okay, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to do a circular pattern. I'm going to select this object. I'm going to select the origin as my center point, and I want to have 12 of them, okay? And I'm going to go okay. So now I've got everything I need to export this to Adobe and add in the artwork. But we're going to worry about Adobe next class, okay? So I don't want you worrying about that right now. Okay, so now we need to go and figure out how to help Nyla make the hangers round. So I'm going to actually turn on the hangers now. And I'm actually even going to turn off the rest of this stuff, so it makes my life a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sketch. Now, just so you all know, as I'm making this up as I go along here now, and I'm going to do a sketch. I'm just going to make sure I'm doing it on this top hanger here. And you'll notice I turned off these sketches here because when I hovered over here, this didn't go white. So I turned off everything I could. So when I hover over here, that's how I know I've selected it. So it's really important. So now I know I'm making a sketch on that. So probably the easiest way for Nyla to make her circle is just to make another circle that just goes out right to the edge like that. Okay, and I can see here it says 134.455, so I'm probably just going to make that 135, and I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to hit finish sketch. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to extrude it but I'm not going to extrude it up. I'm going to extrude it down. And I can see here it says minus there. So I need to make sure I put minus, but I'm only going to put 3. And I'm going to make sure it says join. I'm just going to go up here.
Whoa.
Goes join. So now what I've done is I've now turned that into the circle shape that she needs, right? So probably my next step is I need to do it for the rest of these. So I definitely want to make sure that I do it on the back here because I don't want to have to redo this keyhole thing. So I'm going to go like that. I'm going to go center diameter circle. Make sure it's 135. Finish sketch. And then now this time I'm going to extrude it. Now this stuff's all kind of bugging me. It's all in my way. So what I'm going to do is go into my hangers and I'm just going to turn off everything else. So I'm now going to extrude this, but this time I want to extrude it this way. But you'll notice it still says minus. That's because in this particular case, positive is that way. So the only way I can figure out if it's minus or positive is I actually drag the arrow the direction I want and I look to see what it is, right? So I'm going to go -3 here and join. So now I've got my front part of my mechanism and my back, and now it's the shape I want. Does that make sense? Right, now, one last thing while I think about it, I'm going to turn these off. If you decide, like I think Nyla is going to decide, that you want to add a stand to your clock, then you're going to want to go to your hanger and you're going to want to maybe add a stand. So maybe let's make this, so what I would do is just draw in your stand like that. Okay, and now you're going to want to add in some dimensions. So like maybe I'm going to make the distance from, I'm going to turn on my origin here. The distance from this corner to there, maybe I'll make that 25. And now I'm going to do the same thing again to this corner. Distance from there to there. Whoops. So I'm not going to go into much detail with this, but the point is you can modify all the shapes I've taught you how to make the ones that you need for go away. Your clock. All right. I don't think I'm going to make you watch me do this. Does that all make sense? Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's see if we can make this whole thing constrained. We'll put that distance in there. 200. So if I want to make the stand, I do the same thing again. Hit the home button, and now I'm going to hit extrude. Move it down -3. Make sure it says join. So now if I turn these all on, right, I've now got my mechanism shape. And if I turn on, my mechanism fits in there, and my clock face will fit in there. So that's kind of what you need to be working on today, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing.